do this all together.
John.
Ken's
Here's one of your standard operating procedures, brother.
Standard operating procedure is to do push-ups every 2 hours for peak state. That's what we get to do. We say yes. We change our physiology. We change our focus. We change our language. We change that direction. And just saying yes and focus that I can actually do these push-ups. It's Mission Monday. It's really looking at the mission for the week. And I was just talking with my accountability partner. And I was just talking about, hey, what are my 3 top goals for this week? Yes. Well, one of those goals is going to be, you guessed it, the 420 countdown, 420 live. It's going to be happening at the Belmont Studios in Vancouver. And that's going to be the 420 countdown, April 19th on West 5th. So join us live for that. Sign up, join us. It'll be on, of course, the web links and stuff. So that's one of my missions this week, is really to get that focused. I'm doing push-ups and talk with you guys. I'm filming on one side. I've got messages on the other. I'm here. I'm present. And craft farmers doing these amazing events about regenerative growing and stuff.
What it's all about is the workflow, the standard operating procedure, and your push-ups are part of your standard operating procedure for what you do every single day to move yourself forward.
Well, SOPs is really taking a look at what you do with everything, and it's that agenda that you have in your garden. It really comes down to. Mm-hmm. And I mean, going back in the days and looking back at the history, and even going through, looking at even the SOPs I put behind with the seeds that I did decades ago, right? Everything came with a standard operating procedure. Mm-hmm. SOP. And, I didn't even know what an SOP was until I was probably 30. I was like, what's an SOP? I do this every day. Standard operating. Oh, that kind of stuff that I've been writing in logs for the last, 15 years, because I had a standard operating procedure in my garden. I think that's really what started my SOPs, because I needed to have that consistency in my garden, take a look at what I was doing behind that. And as I grew older, I started having SOPs in my business from when I was a glazer, because I had SOPs for caulking, putting in glass. I had SOPs when I put on my harness and stuff like that so I wouldn't fall. Screwed that one.
Everything in life is an SOP. Think about it.
One is me posting my push-ups so you guys can stay consistent with your own growth.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I forget this. And you know why? Because I get caught up. And I do this consistently for one reason. It keeps me accountable. Mm-hmm. Me accountable to me. It shows my discipline, and it helps me discipline myself to what I believe in, which is my personal growth, which has pushed me through all these great things. And Ken knows I have to actually walk out of the room, circle around to get reception. And a lot of times I get caught up in the moment. I'm sitting here and then I go do my next push. I'm like, oh, I didn't go up yet.
Yeah, exactly. So go take a walk, and I'll talk about workflow and that. So anyway, guys, you think about in your grow, but think about everything you do. Your alarm going off in the morning, that's part of your standard operating procedure for how you're running your life. And it all meshes together, whether you're gardening, whether you're outdoor gardening, whether it's flowers and vegetables or cannabis, doesn't matter. Having those, set parameters that you want to do every day, or the things you need to do every day, and then adding more things in there as are necessary to have success, whether that's success in your garden, whether that's success in your personal life. A lot of times SOPs, though, can become ruts. And it's recognizing that you're starting to go into a rut because you're not looking at new things. You're not attempting new things. You're not growing. In order to really get a strong sense of an SOP is a firefighter. He sees a fire. He doesn't run away. He runs to the fire, because he's been trained in a set of understandings and beliefs, or his SOPs, on how to react to that particular situation. John, are you going to walk away?
No, I'm sitting watching. Everything. I got Canadian Platts posting here. I got Melanie talking about creating shared experiences for shared experiences that we're doing here. And we talk
Yeah.
about these shared experiences, and those shared experiences come with the standard operating procedures that we have done. Hey, Roy, how you doing, my friend? And looking at how you put everything into play.
Yeah.
I create standard operating procedures. We create, and it might be a different way of how you're doing things. And some people may call that procrastination. Some people call it research.
Yep.
And my SOP was after I posted my push-ups and this new strain that so actually the SOP for curing, SOP
Yeah.
for how I maintain and keep cannabis fresh for years and stuff like that, and taking a look at those operating procedures that I've learned over time. And it's simple, hang dry, and leaving it on the stick so it holds that humidity and moisture and keeps it fresh. Once I take it off the stick, I got to keep it fresh again. So I have a standard operating procedure. I put it into a bag or a container with a bolder pack.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it for the next maybe couple of years. But if I'm going to keep it fresh for the next couple of days, I'm going to put it in my bag. I'm just going to roll them up and smoke it. Because I know if I don't roll this right now, because it's been sitting out for the last hour or so, it's going to
dry out. It's going to not have the water activity that you like.
Of the grinder because it's still fresh. That's been hanging, you guys, for 2.5 months.
Yeah.
I have a standing operating procedure, how everything I'm doing. And with that, when I move it, it moves like kinetic sand on the rolling paper. See that? Just stays together. Nice, and how that's just beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That's because I know how to
standard operating procedure gives you is that quality.
And I can show you, I'll take you upstairs, and that plant has been hanging in a closet, both doors closed. All right. But it's been on the stick. So it's still keeping it fresh. Now, if I had taken off that stick, put it on screens, it'd be bone dry, go to dust.
Yeah.
Hang dry for the win, right? Because we've all, and I had good things. We talked about cocoa yesterday. I talked about growing when going back to different nutrients, going back to certain things, throughout the crop cycle, looking at all the standing SOPs we've created over the last, for me, 35 years of looking at SOPs. Yeah. And those always change because as I change, I start changing those standard operating procedures to get more yield. Seeing it, I can show you some stuff just on light alone. Oh, it's so beautiful how it's right here on one side, and we go 3 things over, and the buds are twice the size because we look at SOPs over time. We know what light's going to work for this, know what light's going to work for that, and proving that is by writing it down and also seeing it and then teaching it so other people can see. Or you can sell that SOP. That's what a lot of people do. They don't want to show you. They want to sell you their SOP because it's their intellectual property. That's what an SOP is, your standard operating procedure for what you're doing in your life or you're in your business or in your SOPs, procedure to grow. We used to sell our SOPs. We used to sell our strains, and then how to grow. And those feeding schedule was an SOP. My feeding schedule was an SOP. I sold a feeding schedule with 2 clones for $2,000 in 2010.
Yeah.
Like 222. That was the day. They're like, wow, that was pretty good. Today, you know what? They're all over the internet, and you create your own. And Big Grease has got his little SOP and what he feeds and how he does things. I have my own SOP. I changed them. We just went and we look at different other SOPs. What they do is say that didn't work for me, so I'm going back to my old standing operating procedure. Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's everybody has their own because they're in their own environment. They understand their environment, and sometimes changing it up isn't as good as we'd like. You know, it's like feed routines. You know, you add one thing.
This is called fresh weed. That is what we call fresh weed. That is the freshest. That's hung when I took it down when it was in around Christmas time, just before I took this down at Christmas time. Yeah, that was right too. I did this on the video. I took this down on Christmas. It's been hang drying since Christmas. This is February. That's 6 weeks.
Cool.
This is the Death Medi. This is the Death Bubble crosswind. So an old pre-98 crossed into another bubble, which is basically a pre-90 bubba. I always call it my purest Kush, my Medi Kush. And with that, I'm pretty good at doing this. See the standing operating procedure of using even my fingers and how I roll?
Yeah.
Remo has the same way. We all have a little SOP. What is your SOP in your garden? Are you writing it down? Are you keeping your goals down forward? Are you writing down what you're doing? And are you keeping track of your gardens or whatever you're doing? How to do it in the lab? Paul showed me that.
Yeah.
SOPs.
Well, and I learned SOPs back in high school, junior high. This is how you have to do things. Even back then,
They didn't call it SOP though.
Oh
They just
no,
said,
of course not.
so we
But
didn't
that's how
really
our
learn it.
education system
They
works.
told us what to do so we can actually benefit their standard operating procedure. We built their, like McDonald's and stuff. We all kids. We all did this. They didn't get those SOPs. They don't teach you this in school, by the way.
No.
They don't teach you how to set roles and goals. They don't teach you how to set a future pace your life. They don't teach you how to be you. So when you take a look at your SOP is your life. Your SOP is what you do. It's time blocking. Oh, look at that. I mean, I just see when you have good look at how perfect this joint is. I mean,
Hey, hold on, let me get it big here. Oh yeah, nice.
Look. I mean,
yeah.
If I was,
I think you might have been doing it for a couple of days now, John.
But if that was bone dry weed, it wouldn't work. If I didn't just take it off the stick and everything comes off the stick, I roll. That's why I keep things hang dry for a year now. I have a 1 year hang dry. That was the goal. A 1 year hang dry to see what would come. And it's coming up on that. A 1 year hang dry in a controlled room. Because after I got T-boned on April 30th, I cut down the crop. That's coming up. And then I did the crop and waited and I did one crop and I realized that this is just affecting. And now I have the 1 year hang dry, which is coming out with a book on curing cannabis, the Bovid experience, what I've seen through water activity and the changing of water in our products. An SOP that I get to share with you guys on what I've learned. So a standing operating procedure on what I've been able to do by getting this.
Yep.
I'm pretty impressed with that joint right now. I just want to put it away and hide it on myself.
Take a picture to last longer, okay? Well, we have a video of it now, so you're good. It's here forever.
Oh, I find weed everywhere. It's like, oh, what's that?
Oh no, there's something that most of the people in our chat right now would love to have that just kick it around. Oh geez, I'm finding weed everywhere. Yeah.
I'll find that one day.
Yep. So you gonna stick a Bovida in there or what?
No, I'll smoke that today.
Okay.
That's in an airtight container, so I'm fine with that. I look at things and what I use and what Bovida is, what's really for me. And when I cut down fresh weed, I'm not using Bovida because I don't need to. It's fresh.
Yeah.
When I'm going to store it and take it with me, like get on a plane when I was going back to, say, Alberta or if I'm going to any other provinces, is when I land, the weed dries out instantly because of different temperatures and different fluctuations within the humidity in the air. And I know that. Exactly. So when I land in Ontario, I use Bovida. When I land in Edmonton, I use these products. When I cut down my fresh weed, I smoke it. When I take it and put it in a bag or I store it, I use Bovida.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I love how they say this is awesome. Okay. This apparently steals the terps. And all of you, pardon my French, idiots out there that really believe that keeping things fresh and really looking at where you're standardizing things. This actually prevents mold. It helps keep the cannabis fresh. It helps it not dry out, so you're losing essential terpenes that are going to help you with your pain. So when you talk about a standardization of trying to get consistency for your medicine or for what you're going through, this is the standard. This is the only way I've been able to standardize my cannabis. Through years and years and years. We're talking decades of understanding it. I get the standardization of the same freshness. So when I open up this container, whenever I smoke it, it always had that same humidity inside the jar to keep it the freshness that I'm maintaining. The cannabinoids are changing because you can never keep that. I tried doing that with Medi-1, 1 part grown bloom. I set up SOPs around that and kept doing it over and over, testing it in labs and trying to set a standard operating procedure behind that. Didn't happen. And we tried doing this for years with Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful man, right?
Dr. Hornby.
With my mom. Woo-hoo. Love her too. and you guys. So they all had standard operating procedure, how they tried doing things. We tried putting in those parameters to kind of create that. So the SOPs then came down to what size pots, what size nutrients we're using it, what was being feed. But we're never going to get the consistency of the same cannabinoids from every crop, and never, ever, 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 ever grow one plant or one beside. They both have different cannabinoid profiles. Same profile, different amounts of THC and CBD and stuff like that. So we'd have to mill it, put it down. Then we would then decarboxylate big batches to have the standard SOP behind that batch, which gave us a lot number. That's why when you buy things, they have they have a barcode on it. That barcode is then registered with the government, so they know what lot it comes from. GSR barcoding. That's another SOP you had to abide by if you're selling cannabis in Canada legally. These all have an SOP. They all have a barcode attached to it. And if anything happens, they can then now retract that. If you don't have an SOP going into a business, that's anything that's going to be in contact, you ain't going to get a business. You need a standing operating procedure by everything that you do in life, especially in business. Because in business, if you don't have an SOP on how you're doing things and looking at your identity and where you are, and then how you're getting that rapport with your customers and being able to create those ecosystem mergers. Because now I'm talking about stuff that I've learned through other courses that I've taken. So as I stop talking, because I paid thousands of dollars for the next speeches I'm ready to give you, I'm just going to kind of look at how I've created my own SOPs. And I keep giving out the knowledge, but I don't give you the context or the contrast behind it and go here. You have to sort through all of my SOPs of what I do, how I've created where I am.
Yeah.
Because those are our hidden secrets. SOPs are what people buy. Remember that. SOPs is what people buy the best. Standard operating procedures, they buy patents, they buy procedures, they buy companies that have SOPs behind them, show profits, loss of them profits. They have the same kind of text behind them. They're all using the same scoreboard. Understand your scoreboard.
Yeah.
You have to create your SOP to understand all of these terminologies that we're talking about. Because if you don't know your scoreboard, which is your cash flow, your investments, where money's coming from, to attach that to your SOP that's creating that cash flow, that's giving you your what? Monetary capital, so you can do what?
Spend
Create donations to help more people for the fun and magic that you get in life. Because without the SOP, you ain't gonna be able to create the monetary capital that you need in order to live your life. And at the end of the day, what is your disposable income at the end of the year? How much money do you have as a disposable income that you've created from your standard operating procedure? Or are you just living a life to life with no SOP behind it? You're just kind of like, this is what I do. I go to work every day. I'm happy. That's great. Awesome. But if you're a business,
I was talking about,
you better have an SOP behind your business and how you're running it. You better know your metrics. You better know your optics. You better know your cash flow. And you better know what you're doing. Boy, I'm speaking today. I got to smoke this right.
Well, and that's
I just did a 4-day all immersion course, and I just spent 6 days going back and forth because they had Tony Robbins in town with the Platinum Finance trip in Whistler, which was just amazing to be able to go through all of that details and talking and creating those ecosystem mergers and taking a look at the future.
Not allowed to talk about that, but actually,
I can talk all I want about it, but I'm not going to talk about it on here because it has nothing to do with the standard operating procedure. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. It's not in the context of our discussion. So we can say that for your future show or something else that we'll talk about in the future. Yeah. And you'll hear about it because I'll be talking about it solid. Believe me, you'll be giving a lot of information. What I just learned to help you guys see where you're going is putting your SOPs behind your life, what you're doing, creating that fun and magic in your health and your business. Because you need to create that. And creating an SOP for your life is the first one you should be creating. How are you running your emotional mind? Music is an SOP, 100%.
Yep.
Everything is. When you start seeing what a standard operating procedure is in your life, you start getting, there's a standard operating procedure to making this pipe from Slinger, you know? There's a standard operating procedure to making this beautiful resin that I got from my buddy. Everything had an SOP behind what you do. If you don't write it down and put the context of what you're doing to get the contrast at the end of the result, you're what? You're a dabbler. Just saying. You're not going anywhere in life. You're not getting anything.
And just think, as easy as a standard operating procedure is, my friends, it's when you see a yellow light, you're either going to punch it or you're going to hit the brakes. Right? That's as simple as a standard operating procedure gets.
That's a reaction.
Reaction.
That's a reaction. I'm going to say that's a reaction to the light going green.
Yeah. But that's a
Well,
standard operating
I'm in the
procedure.
midst of taking my class 4 driver's license. So I would have to
Yeah,
read all of these SOPs and what you can and cannot do. You have
yeah.
standard operating procedures to how I'm able to actually be, well, I'm approved to be an Uber. Pretty
You
cool.
look like an
I
Uber.
do this because I can and I choose to, and because, hey, for one, I create a staging microphone, which is the front seat of my car.
Yeah.
And that front seat of my car brings me clients and people that I'm able to actually create fun and magic with. And it's a business deal. It's a sales meeting. That's what I get to do. I get to create a sales meeting every day
Yeah.
when I choose to, because it's not every day. It's an executive kind of thing I'm doing. And I create a sales meeting behind that. And behind that sales meeting, I might get a sale of it, or it might just be a sequel. Hey, have a great day, gain some rapport.
Yeah.
I can tell you, but anybody that I'm in business with, anybody I'm in context with, it all starts with the first thing: a shared experience about who you are, what you represent. That's gaining the rapport to get into the next level of creating what's your standard operating procedure to gaining into a business, to putting into getting into your, to going to bed, to whatever it is. But there's an SOP behind everything you do. So start understanding what standard operating procedure you have in your garden, in your business, and in your life. Set 3 different types of SOPs in your life. Then you can set some goals behind those. Right? There's goals behind your SOPs, because if you're putting in your SOP, you have a goal to get there first. So now you got to put a standard opportunity behind the goal that you're having within the vision that you have. See, it all starts with something. It all starts with knowing your why. I'm gonna.
And why you want to grow this much cannabis, because you need this much for your medicine. And there's all the different connotations to what John is saying, because it's everything in your life works by this basic principle.
I love it, because I know when you put up SOPs, and I can just go into my beautiful little thing here, which is I have some beautiful tools. Anybody using any beautiful tools in their life? Let's see what's trending right now in the old ChatGPT world. So, let's write an SOP for growing cannabis.
Okay.
And I'm going to throw this into my little chat that I have, because of course I've created my own expert panels and stuff like that. Let's throw this just into Strategic Cannabis Innovation Collectives. This is an advisory board for around the world, and see what they have to say for Porter and how to improve things. So creating a standard operating procedure for growing cannabis is a crucial step of ensuring consistency, quality, and compliance with legal regulations. This SOP will outline the essential steps and considerations across different stages it's going like crazy of cannabis cultivation. It will generalize guide you to sure to adjust to comply with your local laws and specific operation requirements. So standard operating procedures, SOPs for Canadian cultivation. Aha. See, that's pretty good. So if you're going to get this, I've got lots of tools. You can direct message me. You can go onto my Facebook or my LinkedIn and find Cannabis Strategic Collective. And in there, it's going to give you your purpose. What's the purpose of your SOP? What you're establishing? What's your responsibilities? Cultivator manager? Are you cultivating a team? Are you ensuring quality assurance? What is your materials and equipment that you're using? So now we're going to get into cannabis seeds, your growing medium, your containers and pots, your lighting system, your ventilation system, your irrigation system, your nutrients and supplements, pets, disease and management supplies, and productive equipment for staff. That's the starting of an SOP for procedures and planning for preparation for legal indoor grow in Canada through what? See, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I just love this, because as I'm doing this with you guys, I just created this for the community. So this is what's so beautiful is I got to find you guys now, because of course I got 80 windows open. So there you are. So I was just having some fun, right? So what SOP do you want to create for your business? If you have a store in a business, what kind of store do you have? Write down the store that you have, what you got going on.
Who's your perfect customer?
ChatGPT for you can just go into ChatGPT and kind of ask if you have any accounts. Do this, guys. These are the tools you've been given. These are the tools you can have to escalate where you're going and how to find better ways of being able to produce better things for your life and in your garden and for the loved ones around you. I was just having fun. And you know what? When I've been creating all these great things and then seeing the primary focus, this is in my Amazon affiliate program. So I'm building an Amazon affiliate program, and I had to do this. So I'm actually putting an SOP behind that right now. Because I have an Amazon business in 2019. So I'm actually doing exactly what we're talking about here right now. I do every day. And
Yeah.
everything I do from the event, I have an SOP behind the event, the budget behind it, where it's being hosted, the time. Now we're putting an SOP behind what's being going to be going on in the event at 4:20, at 5. I said the stand operating agenda, the cleanup crew that's doing everything, see how everything comes together. So when I've got the event, we got certain times for staffing. I've got SOP for security, how many people are at security, how many people per 100. All these things come into play.
Yeah.
Oh, by
All
the way,
rules and regulations
happening at the Belmont Studios in Vancouver, live 420 countdown, 419, out with the old, in with the new generation, seeing that future pace and going, yes, don't miss this extraordinary event that is going to be like nothing in the industry. Why? OGs meet the Gen Zs, passing on the keys and the torch going into 2024 live at midnight, that Paladone event. If you're not here, create that, because at midnight you're going to have 420 back and forth. This happens once in the history of our existence. This is our time. This is the focus. This is what we've done from the past and our ancestors that gave us the keys to come here, to passing on the new torch to the new generation of legalization. They have no idea what we've gone through, what we fought for, and they're in the same moment of creation right now in their industry, because there's so many hurdles we have to go through, and they're wondering how to do it. You have to push through it. So we can say this is what we did to get us here. Now you got to take it to the next level for us.
Yeah.
Which is changing those laws, changing those taxes, looking at consumption lounges, getting better access, and be able to properly communicate the efficacies of cannabis and how it helps us every day. It's free cannabis. Give it its true voice. We're setting SOPs behind this. Oh, I'm getting excited. Oh, you're coming, right? Yeah, you are.
Oh, yeah.
That's 419 live. That's at the Belmont Studios in Vancouver on West 5th. You'll see that Vancouver420.ca. You can buy your tickets. I think they're $24.24, of course. Perfect.
Oh, jeez.
And actually, I think it's sold out.
Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe you need enough people to reach out and say, I want in. That
I got to be careful here right now, because we're at a point right now that it's becoming so exclusive and the numbers have gotten so small. It's became this thing that everybody wants in. So, hey, we might have to give away some free tickets. Oh, wait a second. I have access, don't I? Of course I do. I create a certain number of tickets that are on the side right now. So I have to go and double check and talk with some people and see exactly where we are with ticket sales, where we're going with tickets. And if you click the button, you might get lucky and be able to buy a ticket right now without me not even knowing. Just saying. Vancouver does. It's an SOP. Because you know what? It tracks everything. Go figure. It's got a tracking system attached to it, which is a standard operating procedure. So when it sells out, I don't have to go and look at a sheet of paper or nothing. It'll just say sold out. I don't have to worry about that shit.
Yeah. And that's why you set those things up that way, John.
I know. Okay. I had an operating procedure today. It was, I can, I will, I must.
That's a good standard operating procedure to wake up with every morning, a positive mental attitude to start the day and move forward from there. And I think that's one of the most important things that people miss when they get up, is setting the intention that they want for the day. But then you can start doing that midnight before you go to bed.
Let's really be realistic here. I mean, because we're business owners, we're people who can actually move forward, and we're in a different vibration of life. A lot of people who are down here and they're great. It's exactly where they need to be. It's awesome. And they're like, I get up and go to work every day, dude. I don't need an SOP. That's pretty awesome. But if you're here, you're growing and you want to grow. Most people don't realize they already have SOPs. Exactly.
Wake up, morning routine. Yep.
And
as for Tony, just on a side note, Pembina River, Tony had to go pick up medication for mom, so he wasn't able to join us this morning. So that's a standard SOP that he has, and I was going to actually talk to him about, being in a wheelchair. What are the differences in SOPs that he would have having, to adjust to being in the wheelchair to what, he was or had when he wasn't in the wheelchair, because there's going to be a drastic difference in what you can physically do in that case. Mentally, that's what John and I a lot are talking about, is, using what you've learned and where you're going to formulate your SOPs and grow them as you grow and learn. And John's making tea, I can tell.
I was finding out this is I'm just talking out loud right now, so I'm not going to. It's okay. It's just me bragging, so forget it.
Okay, well, yeah, we don't want to brag, or it's okay, yeah. But John, if
it's the peer group of people that are pushing me, and the people that I'm associated with now that are actually pushing me, and I'm realizing the peer group and the hybrid group of people I'm associated with, some pretty influential people, and they're pretty some amazing people. And they've helped me guide me to see my true identity. What I've been serving and doing here for you guys is really looking at those SOPs, setting those goals, looking at that vision, and future pacing your life. Because that's what we do here. We look at our growth. We look at how we do things by planting a seed of growth, your life.
Yeah.
And how it wakes you up every day and commits you. It pulled me out of a wheelchair. It changed my whole life. That's why I'm here every day. I'm committed to my passion, which is your growth. And your growth started with whatever you've gone through. It's problems make you grow. And there's nothing else you ever say about, guess what? No matter how thin you slice the pie, there's two sides of that story. And no matter which way you look at life, guess what? You ain't getting out alive.
No, yep. There is that,
You ain't getting out alive. You're getting through your grace of the day, and that's by putting the standard operating procedure behind your life, which is setting your emotional mind and what you want to accomplish in life and seeing where you go. I don't get up in the morning and go, oh, fuck this, fuck. I get up and go, be outstanding. Today's be a successful day, John. I'm going to learn something new, and I do 20 push-ups. I feed my mind. I build my emotional mind because I put in a standard operating procedure for my life to better myself so I can help better the way I am communicating with my emotional mind. Because your fuel of choice is your emotions, the emotions that you bring to any context or any situation in your life. And when you set that emotional mind, you set that standard operating procedure, how you want to feel, you can start growing your life and it's exponentially in so many different ways. Because once you plant that seed, it starts to grow. And guess what? If you don't look after it, and if you have a son or a daughter, you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. You can't stop the growth, but you can guide it and help it, nourish it, and give it what it needs so it has an exponential flourishing life of growth and contribution and gives you exactly what you're looking for. And we do that with SOPs on lighting and what things do with nutrients and how it runs your life. I know if I eat pizza and chocolate and chips and every day, it's not doing me good. And my body isn't running at full optimum source, but I can do this once in a while and it can take it. Why? Because it knows what it's doing. But if I really want an optimal life, then I have to fuel my emotional mind. So I have an SOP behind when I want to step up and be at that fluent, which is water is my flow. But if you overwater, you can't do that with your body, but you can do that with your plants. You get brown roots. Some people don't dry back because they've never done it before because they don't have a standard operating procedure how they do things.
Yeah.
So when I look at gardens, we were talking about yesterday, this guy's doing this. Oh, yeah. He's overwatering. I said, what do you got? Brown roots? Yeah, we know about that. What's happening? Well, he's watering every day. Yeah, we got to let them dry out a little bit. It's all cocoa. We have to, it's ever say can't let things dry out. We've seen a difference in everything because we had SOPs we wrote 10 years ago. Oh, wow. So we go back to our old SOPs and go check that shit out. So we designed this new one. We're like, oh, now this is happening. And that's how you get better and better at your craft because you have an SOP you've looked at over years and you keep tweaking it. Yeah. Make sure you write down what you're doing because if you don't know what you're changing. You don't know what you're tweaking. You don't know what the difference is.
Yeah.
So when I run a new nutrient right now, we try crop salts and it burned differently completely. And we do the same thing over and over. Okay, so now we know what that is because we had an SOP behind things we do. Everything stayed the same except for one parameter. And something changed. So now we know.
And like that. The more parameters you change, then you don't really know what actually happened.
Don't write it down. If you don't contextualize what you're doing, if you don't have the context behind it, you're not getting the contrast of what you're going to get. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get what you want. Yeah. So it's like, it's creating that magic for yourself. I got all this stuff in my head. I'm looking at identity, relationship capital, monetary capital, creating teammates, getting fun and magic going around, getting into that Zeus energy and going, yes, and find that aspirational energy to push you forward and look where you can go. because the vision is
Yeah.
what you create. It's that standard operating procedure blah, 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 that you give yourself. I'm looking at things, and it's funny how the brain works because as I'm talking, I'm thinking about something ahead of what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
I'm looking at how to properly communicate with you guys about how SOPs are so important
Hmm. In everything,
and
every
everything,
aspect of your life.
everything you do,
Yeah.
everything that we have, everything comes with. And if you don't look at how you're running your life and you just run your life, well, then things happen. I know because I've had them all happen.
Yeah.
I've created all kinds of different operating procedures in my life. Most of them weren't serving me, right? They were serving other people, serving the greater good. Some of them weren't.
Hmm.
But I've looked at those things, and right now I have to do an SOP. That would be opening up my door for my cat because he doesn't have. He just comes to the door. He's standard operating procedure. He comes to the door. He scratches it. I open it for him. He knows that.
Yep.
He
Yeah.
knows that. He knows when I get up in the morning, I go for my walk. I walk, I open up the door. He goes out.
Yeah.
I come back. Susan, I walk in the door. He's at the door scratched because he gets fed.
Yeah. And that's a standard operating procedure that he's quite happy
Well,
with.
it's a standard operating procedure. I double box him. I put a lid on top. He can't tell. And I can walk in any community, any hotel, any place. I can walk into an airport. Go figure. There he is.
Yeah.
We did that too. We put an SOP in how I can ship plants across Canada with Bubble Man. That was fun. The first legal
Uh-huh.
plants that were put on a plane in 2014. I was one of the only person that did that. I know that because it didn't happen. I was the first one to ship plants because I applied for everything in the very, very beginning in 2016,
Okay.
17, 16.
16 or 17. Yeah.
I think it was before that because we had to ship the plants before we went legalized, right? So shipping plants was around that time. Check those time dates. It was really fun. And now I'm looking at the same thing I'm doing. I was like, where'd I get that from? Oh, because I've been doing this for a long time. Yeah.
Just a couple of days. Yeah.
Concrete tubes were great. Put the plastic concrete tubes, seal the tube on top and bottom, put trays on the bottom, put it on a pallet, saran wrap the whole thing. You know what I mean? Put on that.
Yeah.
And don't tell them what it is. Health Canada specifically said, do not tell them what you're shipping. That's how you ship all your weed. Don't tell them.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're not allowed to take it.
None in Canada anyway.
Huh? No,
Not
you can
in
ship up
Canada.
to 30 grams anywhere in this province. You guys understand that. There's a standing operating procedure put into play. You can ship 31 grams, they'll take it. You ship 29.9 grams, you can ship it. Yeah. You can't sell it unless you're a legal store. You can donate it. You can give it away.
Yeah.
You can give it. You can give it someone who is in need of some medicine. Say, here you go. You know what they can give you back? A shout out, some value. May come by and say hi. All right. They can give you their time because time is value. You get paid for the value you bring to the marketplace. You get 8,460 seconds in a day when you wake up. That's your time bank. How are you using your time bank? How are you writing your standard operating procedure for your life, and how is it paying you? Because that's what SOP does. It pays you.
So, John, tell us a key. Like, is it, should you be doing, like, I know you mentioned before, writing your roles and goals at before you go to bed, so you have an idea. Is that really
Well, you're thankful for your day. At night, I'm thankful for my day. I'm always, when I go to sleep, I always say, I'm just thankful for just before I close my eyes. I thank the most thankful things that I've accomplished in my day. And then I do deep breath work and I meditate for sleep. In the morning, I write my gratitude. When my, I'm just my gratitude for the day. But at night, I always put in my basic. Every night, I write in my daily planner what I'm doing for the next day. So when I wake up, I already know what I'm doing. I'm not caught in the funk of where I'm going. How do I know where to go if I don't know where I'm going? That was one of my primary questions because I always say, I need to get there. I need to get there. I said, but I didn't even know where I was. I get up in the morning, I'll be just excited to get out the door. I go, where am I going? Okay. And I run against the way. I didn't need to get there. Right. So where do I need to go if I don't know where I'm? It says Canada, so I'm just gonna like answer it for a second. Hi,
Sure.
Canada. Hello. Pretty good. Could be spam.
I think it's spam.
This is with the service. So we get to continue our meeting because they decided to just interrupt me whenever they decide they want to call. So as we continue going forward with what we're talking about, which is setting those goals and roles within inside of your standard operating procedure. See, they hang up. It's pretty good. And who here gets a standard operating phone call from spam these days on their cell phone?
Oh, every day, every day.
It was nice when
Yeah,
we didn't have it in the beginning. It was always your home phone would be spam, right?
yeah.
I got a cell phone. They can't spam me. It's like, fuck, something happened there years ago.
You start dialing numbers. It's a big sheet of paper with all the numbers. Yeah.
Oh, my number's on every list. They probably sell my numbers to people like crazy because I'm a business owner. So
Yeah.
everybody's, hi, are you the business owner? Not anymore,
Mhm.
actually. I'm for the community. I'm an owner of my life.
Yes. And that's
Because
what you
it's
need to
your life
be.
that you get to live. No one can be you. Remember that. Your own heroic, unique identity, what you become, your standard operating procedure of who you are, your beliefs and values. I am, insects are. Who are
Yeah.
you? What do you reflect on life? Where are you going? What do you truly want in life? It's by setting your values, your roles and goals, and where you want to do in life. Not somebody else's, but yours. And unlocking those old roles and goals of where you are is stuff that you wrote down as a kid, your dreams, your passions, your values, stuff that's your emotional mind that builds you every day. Morpheus, what are you doing? You're having some,
Watch those plants, Morpheus. Yeah.
I just watched the standard operating scene and see how he's just right there in the corner.
Yeah.
And he went through here. He walked up. He went over the cards. He roughly stepped over the business cards there, so he didn't jump them over because he's bitten it before and fallen because he knows not to step on business cards now.
Good. Good.
And look how he's turning around in there. He can like get in the tightest spots
Yeah.
because I'm going to sit in the sun. Somehow this cactus fell over though, so I'm going to sniff it. And his standing operating procedure is to be in the sun.
Yeah. Warm my body, baby. Warm my body.
It's interesting. When we did the whole show, I was going to do a dab 42 minutes ago.
Well, you rolled a joint. You were gonna light that. You never did that either.
I figured I'd save that for later because I'm going to go and take those plants into town and take them
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
to a nice little place in Vancouver where they got this nice little indoor grow in their apartment. And they said they couldn't grow. I said, that's bullshit. You can.
Yeah.
Guess what? He's been doing it now. He's like 35 crops in now.
Oh,
Love it.
jeez.
I know.
Yeah.
He maybe it's not that many. I have to go back the years. He does one he's right down to the times, like 60 days or 62 days. He's been down for 3 days. I'm like, dude, I already got a pre-veg for you. I've topped them. I've changed the farm. And we talk about doing that by actually training your plant. And I train plants by properly creating more tops. Here's an SOP that we created. So you get this. See this? Isn't this beautiful? Look at how nice that plant is.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Right, and how that was created right here at the beginning when we snipped this in here and here. So I created this. Grow your 1, 2, 3, 4 tops on 4 plants. Morpheus, what are you doing? Don't eat the leaves. Don't. Hey! That's not for you to do that. 1 second.
But he likes cannabis, John. You know that.
He's like freaking out right now. He's like, yeah, but wait, that's my favorite strain.
You can't take that away, Dad. I need a munch on that.
Oh, and if you want to know, and we talk about cuts, we talk about cuttings. I'm hearing all these things about pheno hunting and people saying they have this, and that, and everything else. Yeah, no, that's the death bubba. Yeah, no, that's been in our garden since we called it death bubba.
Yeah,
Monty and Lucas. Yeah, I can say the names because I know them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I know. Maybe on 419 or on 420, 421, I'll be bringing some of those clones home with me.
Yeah, sure. Actually, no. Yeah, that doesn't go out. Sorry.
Oh man.
Yeah, because everybody figures they have it, and then it gets renamed, and someone else has got it, and they fuck around with it and stuff like that. So at this point, like the original MKUs and stuff like that, it's. I know you want it, you want to breed with it and create something from it because you're not growing it for yourself. You're growing it because you want to do the pollinations and stuff like that. And those cuts are out there in different ways. So it's like keeping your intellectual property. This is the SOP behind it.
Yeah.
That's how we have hop latent now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because like we know this is clean, 1000%. I know exactly where it is, and it's just where it is.
Yeah.
And the other ones I can't. I'm like, I flower plant plants. I don't get. I know where this is going. I know he doesn't even know what it is, and he's gonna grow this out. He'll never take a cut from him because he doesn't know fucking how to begin with, and I'm not concerned about it. And he'll smoke it, and it'll be the best medicine for him.
Cool. And that's the key.
That's the key. That's right there. You don't need to know anything else. You don't have to cut this. Oh, I got this, that. Here's what you need. And that's what we're really focusing on. I gave away Medicush like crazy years ago. You know how many people actually have that strain? And it's being renamed different times. And I already know where it is and I know how it's being renamed. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So that's an SOP. So understand, like, I know if you go to Life Botanicals, which are amazing people and they have some amazing cushions and stuff like that, and they're legal, by the way. Life Cycle Botanicals. You can buy your clones coming up here pretty soon, and all the legal stores be able to get a little, like it's almost like a Slurpee cup. Inside that Slurpee cup is a clone, and it's going to show you, and it's all hops, like virus free, everything guaranteed. Now, here's the best thing about Health Canada. Oh, you can't call it the name it is, so they got to give it like an RX blah 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 number. But guess what? John is going to tell the world what it is, because I can. Cool. And this is really the education we need, guys. So you can actually go and buy that clone. You can then have the standard operating procedure, how you want to grow it, what light you have, what nutrient you're using, and how you're growing. Oh, didn't we just bring that up? Yeah. You can go on to Cannabis Strategic Innovation on ChatGTP. I'll send you all that. And it's going to give you preparation on planting, germination and cloning, vegetative growth, the flowering stages, the harvesting stages, quality assurance and compliance, and then training behind this. Your appendix, what you have, cannabis cultivation compliant checklist, emergency procedures in cultivation areas, equipping maintenance and supplies. This SOP is intended for starting point. Customized based on your specific requirements, optimal scales, and legal framework for your jurisdiction. Regular training and audits are essential to ensure adherence to the SOP and conditions improving for your cultivation practices.
Yeah. That is a standard, workspace or workflow for how to create a freaking business, but it's also your business is your life. So that's how you can create your own life. It's a structure. It's a guideline. That's what SOPs are all about.
Well, what do you want, Morpheus?
He wants that leaf, man. Give me the leaf, dude. Just give me the leaf.
You know what's nice about what I get to do?
What's that?
Comments. Join chat. I'm not even in chat, apparently. I got to connect to YouTube now. I guess I connect to this. I don't know how this is working. Am I still here?
Oh, yeah, you're still here, John.
Wow. I can't believe what this is going. Wow. A stream right here. I'm still here. That went through a lot of work so I could do this. But it's done. Oh, it doesn't even come out. It comes out with 18 different things. Doesn't do the whole thing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There you go. There's your SOP.
There you go, guys. And
and you know what? People charge thousands of dollars for that.
Yeah. Oh,
actually,
hundreds of
I was one of them. Just saying. Shit, like we spam now. They're just gonna keep calling because they just do. They just call whenever they want, and they disturb you when you're in the middle of live shows and stuff like that. So that's what spam does. Unless it's important, then they can talk about it and tell me exactly. But I don't want to buy anything, so they hang up.
Yeah.
One thing I've learned about them, you just have to answer and just keep talking. And if there's something important, they're like, "Hey, John, it's me." Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you. Why? Because I get 80 calls a day, like you all do.
Mm-hmm.
So create a standard operating procedure how you answer your phone. Yeah.
And it works all the time because you do it all the time. It's like, okay, yeah, I'll just keep talking. And, if it's a sales call, like just hang up.
I'm time blocked. I time block my whole life. I have a standard operating procedure, everything that I do. I can tell between 11 and 12, I have marked down. I have a zone action, which for me is going to be checking my emails. I'm looking at everything within that realm of what's happening for my Monday. Right. And I have between 12 and 12:30, I have lunch. 12:30 to 1, I have rest time for me.
Yeah.
Whatever I want to do. And at 1 o'clock, I'm going to start doing the painting and stuff like that. And at 3 o'clock, as we hit rush hour comes into Vancouver, I'm going to jump in my car and I'm going to drive into town to go and see my friend. And hopefully be there for 420, because that's what we like to do. Celebrate, smoke those joints that I just gave him to him, give him those 3 plants, which is going to fill his thing perfectly. You're gonna say, hey, that's awesome. Go over to Cannabis Culture. Go and say hi to the folks there. Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing some stuff at Cannabis Culture, so stay tuned for that amazing stuff. Bringing back CNC Live. We'll be doing with the whole scene, Pot.tv network. Oh yeah, you know the network. You know, millions of views, millions of followers, and bringing back Pot.tv. It's already there. It has never gone away. Please check it out because we're all doing this and linking the OG Power Hour to Pod.tv, which just makes sense. Oh, do I have the authority to help with that out? I do, because I can influence that. I just did. Whoa! That's an SOP.
You just barged into the show.
Oh, did I just make an announcement and then made it real and made it public so everybody heard about it? Yay! That's what you do.
Yeah.
I have it sitting right here. What you do, guys. Levels of accountability. Write it down.
Yeah.
Write it down and share it. Write it down, share it, and make a public announcement. I don't know. You want downstairs? Sorry. Here we go.
Well, speaking while you're by the stairs, you're supposed to show us that hang dry in your closet. You were supposed to go and show us that. So maybe since you're standing up, wandering around, you can go upstairs. Make sure the window's open for Morpheus so he doesn't bother you and bite you while you're sleeping.
That's a pure brush, and we make rosin with that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do all this stuff, guys.
Oh yeah, guys. I've been in his house. Believe me, everything's there, bro. Everything. And testing. Everything's about testing and knowing. So, like, you've written books about it. For God's sake, you'd have to know. Yeah. Let me bring that up larger, John. There we go.
Fuck, that's crystalline as fuck, too. Look at that.
Yeah.
You know what's best about this?
Oh,
but
nice.
This stalk here has still got moisture. When I get that snap, that means she's cured. Yeah. This stalk is still, you can see the green, I can feel it's cold. You can see the colors in it. It's still holding the moisture. So this plant is really sitting around the 60-62% relative humidity. When I crack that downstairs, you saw it roll like kinetic sand. I already know what it is. Why? Because I've tested this over and over and over until it's stuck. Do it over and over until it sticks. So I kept doing it over and over and seeing the patterns and looking at, I've created my own SOP around curing cannabis and how to cure it, how to maintain it, how to keep it fresh, and what to do after I take it off the stick, where it's best for my medicine, for what I need to alleviate my pain and help me get to where? Another place of existence, to my own spirit. Because cannabis is a spiritual plant. It's got an energy and it's got a vibration, which is a high vibration. It doesn't run on a low vibration frequency like chocolate and sugar does. We could talk about the vibration and that where it sits on the energy field of life. Cannabis is a fuel. It's a food, it's a fiber, and it's a medicine. It produces so much energy from its terpene profiles. Different cannabinoids. It generates heat and it generates life, and it gives us life. It's beautiful. It meets my 6 human needs. Here we go.
Now, Peter Cactus does have a question for you. You don't lose a lot of terps in the open air. You're in a closed closet.
Okay, once again. So when we're looking at saving the terps with cannabis, well, it's about you're not losing it because the moisture is still in that plant. It's still got, and you can hear it snap. You saw it move like kinetic sand. It's perfectly on a tray. You know, it's got that ability. But as I let this sit out, it starts getting now drier. That's when you start losing the terps because the moisture has a terpene shield. So basically at about 55% relative humidity, active water activity, our relative humidity probably is around 11.5. I know these and I don't know, so I don't really want to quote them. So this is just a hallucination behind the moisture levels, to be honest. But when I look at water activity in AW, it's really performed, and we took a look at it. This is proven through Bovida that there's a terpene shield. And once you get below that terpene shield, you're releasing that. It's like putting a piece of saran wrap over top of that triclone head. And at one point, that saran wrap, you can't put it back on. You start losing certain terpenes. Those are the terpenes that are modulating my pain. They're helping me with my pain. So when I break them open and I smoke it, I'm getting the full terpene cannabinoid effect in my mouth, the flavors. And when I open up this bud, I'm like, wow. smelling is just so fragrant. It's not as fresh here. But when I crack it, I want that freshness. I don't want it fresh when smell this awesome. Of course I do. But you get to a point where it gets too dry, you don't smell it anymore. You guys know the weed I'm talking about. You got bone dry weed.
Yeah.
Hurts the back of your throat. Makes you cough like crazy. Hard to roll. Smells pretty good, but it's not the dank that you're looking for, is it?
Yeah. Now, Rusty Nails has a point here I'd like to bring up.
If you see the terps in a jar, they still aren't going to get smoked. Just contain them to smell them when you burp.
And I want to bring up the point where there's a jar in John's house. When he has a certain pain, all he does is open it, smells it, gets the terps, and it eliminates the pain. So that's a
it overrides. It's 3D. It's 3D imaging for your brain, and I've talked about this, and I get started talking about this, which is pretty awesome because hey, oh shit, yeah, it's my research. Who else can talk about it? Research that I've done on myself and seeing certain things. So I have a certain fragment that will override my pain, and I call it 3D imaging because it covers the brain in effect that your pain doesn't break the blood-brain barrier, which is passing into the emotional mind because it's being overtaken by a fragment of smell that's bringing me joy. That's why I set my emotional mind every day. I have to build my emotional bridge. If I thought, oh, fuck this, I'm in pain, thinking about my pain all the time, I'd be in pain. How come? I know that because I am all the time.
Yeah.
But I distract my brain over here and think of where I can be and where I am. Because this doesn't go away. It doesn't go away.
Never.
Right? The stuff that I go through doesn't go away. It's what built my emotional mind, what gave me my standing. And now we're on something completely different than SOPs. Anyways.
But no, actually, we're not, John, because your brain and how you're programming it is your standard operating procedure. You're like me in 24/7, 365 pain, and it's your standard operating procedure of how you look at that has changed how you deal with it. So that's your standard operating procedure for that. And when you find that particular pain, you go to that particular jar, take that smell of those terpenes that creates the result that you're looking for. That is the true essence of a standard operating procedure.
Here you go. I think we might know this stuff. Here's my standing operating procedure.
Yes, one of the many, John. Come on, one of the many.
I know my buddy gave me some. I smoke everything, right? That's clean, done right, and done in context and has good medicinal values. So this is the MKU. And we don't even know it's an MKU. We just called it that. It was a seed that I did.
Yep.
I'll release that video one day because I do have it. It's got to be there somewhere. Some old videos before I was putting stuff on YouTube. So.
Yeah. Now, Peter Cactus has one question that we're going to want to get to before we jump off. I don't know if you want to answer it now. We're kind of getting a little bleed through on your vocals from your torch is blocking, but moisture packs, yay or nay? Now, I know what I believe I know what John's answer is. It depends on what you're doing. If it's fresh, if you're extending the life in a bucket, if you're storing it, it all depends when you use the moisture pack, not if you're going to use a moisture pack. Am I correct on that, John?
Yeah, it's just one. Yay or nay? Depending on one. Depending on if you need it or not. Depending on where you are. Yeah, if I'm buying these from the store, it better fucking have, and I'm buying, like, it better have something in there because most of the stuff is getting old. And I've seen all different fragrances and stuff like that, so I see different packs of certain things. We have Boost, you have Boveda. Boost, it keeps things dry. Boveda keeps things fresh. Depending on who you are. Depending on what it is, what company you deal with. Like, really, in reality, I don't use chemicals. That's it. Try to stay away from certain things, you know. Boost is a one-time product used once you open a container, throw it in the garbage. So those are good for the small ones if people like them. Boveda, you're reusable until it starts getting crunchy. Then you gotta do something with it at that point. So at least one you're able to maintain. One you got to use something in order to maintain it, and then you got little discs you can put just water in. That was the old loaf of Wonder Bread back in the days, or orange peel, or apple peel. Like whatever works for you, whatever your standard operating procedure is. I'm not promoting any companies. I'm promoting an SOP is how you're doing it.
Yeah.
Well,
I know, like for my sugar,
promoting craft cannabis. I'm wearing the shirt.
For my brown sugar, I actually have a disc that you soak in. It's a ceramic thing you put in with your sugar that keeps the moisture consistent so it doesn't get all hard and crusty. that we used to do that in the weed. That was how we kept it hydrated, so it didn't turn into puff, powdery dust when you had it, especially at the bottom of the bag. And there's another standard operating procedure, and that's John cleaning that glass after he's done with it. So, guys, we're pretty much at the hour. John, I know you have something coming up at the cannabis culture in Vancouver, or in Vancouver. You have a date set for some of that stuff?
I'm going to start some stuff on March 2nd. It'll be on a Saturday. So if you're going to be in the area, I'm working with some of the staff there and stuff like that. It's about business and health and looking at ChatGTP. And it's going to be a small little course. Take a look for that. Is there a cost? Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. Because A, for one, got to pay for the building. Go figure. It's not free for me to be there. I know them. I still got to pay for the fee for me in the building. So depending on the amount of people there, we'll determine the cost. So I'm going to see what it is. So tickets will be available for that. You'll check that out. And I can give it one thing right now. Massive value. I'll teach you about some SOPs. Just saying.
Yeah. All right, guys. With that, John, put your fingers up, say peace, and we're out of here.
Peace. Yes, to your freedom, guys.